The blizzard came down from the mountains like a living thing, howling and snapping at the edges of the small frontier town of Red Hollow, burying the road, swallowing sound, and turning every step into a battle for breath. Emma Calloway had arrived only that morning, her gloved hands still aching from clutching her single suitcase as she stepped off the stagecoach, believing foolishly that courage alone could warm a winter night. She was the new school teacher, young, determined, carrying books instead of guns, ideals instead of experience. And the storm did not care. By dusk, the schoolhouse windows rattled like bones. The lantern flame bent low, and Emma realized with a cold twist of fear that she was alone. No firewood remained. The stove coughed itself into silence, and the snow piled higher against the door until even light seemed trapped. When the knock came, deep and heavy, she thought it was the wind. Again until the door shuddered. Inward, and a figure filled the frame, a giant of a man, wrapped in a frost-crusted coat, wide shoulders dusted white, a hat brim sagging under snow. His eyes were steady, dark and sharp, the eyes of someone who knew storms and survived them. He said her name like he already knew it. Said the town had sent him when the roads vanished. Said staying here would kill her before morning. Emma wanted to argue, to insist on independence, but the cold had stolen strength from her words. He introduced himself simply as Jack Hale, a rancher from the northern ridge, and offered her shelter. Not the inn, long buried and abandoned, but his cabin, solid timber sunk deep into the hillside where the wind broke itself. Before reaching the door, the offer sounded bold because it was personal. Because it meant trusting a stranger whose size alone made the room feel smaller, whose presence warmed the air even as snow melted from his coat. Emma hesitated, heart pounding, but the storm roared its answer. She stepped into his shadow, let him wrap her in an extra blanket, and together they pushed into the white fury. Each step was a trial, Jack's hand firm at her elbow, his body a shield against the worst of the wind. When they reached the cabin, firelight spilled from the windows like gold, and for the first time since arriving in Red Hollow, Emma breathed without pain. Inside, the cabin was simple, clean, and strong, like the man himself. Jack set water to boil, laid her near the hearth, and spoke little. But every movement was careful, respectful, as if he understood the weight of the offer he had made. Outside, the blizzard screamed, sealing them in, and Emma realized that survival was no longer just about weather, but about the choice she had made to trust. As the fire crackled and the night deepened, she wondered what kind of man faced a storm without fear, and what kind of life waited beyond the snow. If this story already has you holding your breath, remember to subscribe to the channel, because this is only the beginning. Morning never truly came. The blizzard simply shifted from rage to endurance, blanketing the world in silence so complete it felt sacred. Emma woke to warmth she hadn't known in days, the scent of coffee, and the sound of a man moving with quiet purpose. Jack had slept in a chair by the door, boots on, rifle within reach, guarding her not just from the cold but from the wild uncertainty of the frontier. Over breakfast he spoke more, telling her of his ranch, his solitude, the way storms taught patience and strength, and Emma listened, seeing beyond his sighs to the gentleness beneath. The hours passed slowly, marked by shared stories and the rhythm of the fire, and in that closeness, something unexpected grew, a trust born not of desperation but of mutual respect. When the storm eased enough to peer outside, they saw a world remade, harsh and beautiful, and Emma understood that returning to town would mean returning to fear, while staying meant choosing courage again. Jack made his boldest offer then, not spoken as command, but as possibility. Stay until the roads cleared, help him with letters and books he'd never learned to read properly. Let the cabin be a place of learning as well as shelter. Emma felt the weight of the decision, the risk of judgment, the danger of attachment, yet she also felt the strength of a partnership forming under pressure. She accepted, not because she was trapped, but because she saw a future where survival turned into purpose. Together they shoveled paths, tended animals, read by lamplight, and laughed as the storm loosened its grip. When at last the road reopened and Red Hollow sent word, Emma returned as a changed woman, no longer just a teacher but a storyteller of resilience, carrying with her the memory of a giant, Cowboy who faced the worst winter, with a steady heart. And Jack watched her go, knowing that bold offers sometimes change more than one life. If this powerful tale of courage, trust, and unexpected connection moved you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more unforgettable frontier stories like this on